Alright Netflix, I get it. Sometimes you've got to release something even if it's not your best work. Enter Kinda Pregnant, a raunchy slapstick comedy that landed on my desk. Is it worth your time? I watched this so you don't have to. By the by, I'm the movie guy and let's start this video. Oh my god, right from the beginning, I know that this is not my type of movie. So we start with the two important characters, Lainey and Kate, as children. They are playing mom with two dolls and Lainey is simulating childbirth with it. Lainey throws in some curse words and it becomes immediately clear this is not my type of comedy. Fast forward a number of years, Lainey and Kate are still best friends, and on this fateful day both of their lives will change. For Kate, she just discovered that she's pregnant, something that is more the dream of Lainey, and as for her, today is her 4-year anniversary with Dave, and tonight all signs point to him popping the question. All this information we find between jokes about great pubic hair, Lainey being launched in the living room as she tries to make her bed, general comedy for a Happy Madison production. Of course, Dave does not propose. We need something to drive the character forward, or in this case backwards. Dave makes this big marriage speech only to ask Lainey for a threesome. That goes about as well as you'd expect. Cue the chaos. She makes a big scene. She continues that scene at school where she works as a teacher when she burns all of the literature books of the children, prompting an evacuation of the school. Of course, she gets even more bad news. Kate, her childhood best friend, got pregnant before her. She spazzes out a bit, but eventually she gets supportive. She spazzes out even more when her young, condescending co-worker also announces her pregnancy. One thing does go right for her though, as she meets a guy named Josh whom she has an immediate connection with. It doesn't lead to anything though, at least not for now. We're at the end of the first act and I'm going to try to not complain too much about the comedy in this one. I'm just not a fan of raunchy comedy, and I like slapstick, but that one bit that was done thus far was just so over the top that I just did not like it. I know comedy is subjective, that's why I do not want to comment too much. Some people like raunchy, which is fine, it's just not for me. Lainey and Kate go to a pregnant woman clothing store. There she spots a fake baby bump item which she tries on, and immediately the people in the shop begin acting more nicely to her. So she decides to steal it. Now she's living a lie, getting seats on the train, free apples, and even attending mama yoga classes where she makes a friend named Meg. There's some terribly unfunny yoga fart gags here, and the teacher gives me Fabian vibes from GTA 5.
Did someone say yoga?
There's also a bit here where Lainey falls down on her belly, so obviously everyone is concerned for the baby. There's almost 3 scenes in a row where Lainey takes a big hit to the belly and everyone around her is concerned, and she tries to convince everyone that her and the baby are fine. One would have been enough. Lainey gets invited by Meg to a dinner. There she finds out that Josh is actually the brother of Meg, and they once again flirt with one another, and there seems to be a connection there. This is the first time that Josh finds out that Lainey is pregnant, but that doesn't scare him off. Good guy Josh. There's also a pretty good scene here where Meg talks about the difficulties of being a mother immediately after enduring childbirth. Now it's in this good scene that Lainey wants to come clean to Meg and tell her that she's not actually pregnant. However, she can't. So now she has to live 2 different lives, one where she's pregnant and one where she's not. While she's out with Kate buying things for the baby, she finds out that Meg is in the same shop as her and she's not wearing the baby bumps, so she has to hide. This stunt will also be replicated 3 times. After this, Josh calls her and asks her out. We're at the midpoint now. The movie has been just a tiny smidge better in the second act, but not by much. The dialogue has been a little bit better, even the comedy was more to my liking. Lainey is more sympathetic, however the improvement is only by a little bit. Direction-wise, the film feels like it was shot on autopilot. Flat lighting, overused close-ups, and sitcom pacing add to the sense that this was made quickly and cheaply. Kate and Lainey have a fight. Kate thinks that Lainey is being jealous that she's pregnant. Lainey feels that she has been replaced by Kate's other pregnant friends. It's very cliche, but at the same time you can't really expect anything new or better. The conflict is very much predictable from start to finish. While on a date with Josh, Lainey runs into her ex-boyfriend Dave, who is clearly surprised that she is pregnant now. The lie becomes more difficult for Lainey to keep, but she keeps it going. And then she's almost caught once again when Meg visits her at school unannounced, so she stuffs a balloon under her dress so she looks pregnant. There's not a lot of ideas here. Hit baby bump and stuff things under her dress to look like a baby bump. And that's it. Josh pours his heart out to her and Lainey has to come clean. She can't bring herself to do it, so she just abandons Josh without saying anything, like a lie reason or the truth reason. This obviously hurts him a lot. Act 2 just ended with this scene. This is a really short movie at 90 minutes and it makes sense because they barely have enough ideas to finish the 90 minutes. Every trope in the book is present here. I expect that to continue here in the finale. It's just not been a good watch thus far for me. Amy Schumer plays Lainey with her usual brand of chaotic energy, but the script, which she co-wrote by the way, gives her very little to work with. Will Forte does his best with the cliche boyfriend role, and honestly, he's one of the few sparks in the otherwise flat film. Lainey can't keep up the lie anymore. At Kate's baby shower, Meg and Josh were also invited, which Lainey did not know, so she stuffs a turkey under her dress, but in the end, she has to come clean. She was never pregnant. Meg is infuriated, Josh is hurt, Kate is just blank. She has a talk with Lainey, claiming that she knew that something was up, but in the end, they make up and they are best friends once again. Lainey now has to patch things up with Meg, which is super easy despite Meg offering resistance at first. Josh is not to be convinced, however, despite Lainey trying and making a pretty good speech. And that's the end. The movie finally tries something new. Kidding. Lainey goes on to work on herself, and when she finally becomes good with herself, Josh appears, and now he has the speech, and they hook up. And just like that, problem solved. Kinda Pregnant is less a movie and more a checklist of cliches. He tries to be knocked up meets Bridesmaids, but lands closer to a low-effort sketch comedy. If you're into the genre, maybe it's background noise, but for everyone else, just skip it. I don't know what good thing I could say about it. I guess Amy Schumer and Will Forte were fine, and they had decent chemistry, but aside from that, I don't think that there are any more passing marks. If you're looking for something in the same vein but actually funny, try Blockers, Trainwreck, or Easy A. Those films managed to mix raunch with heart and had something to say. Kinda Pregnant, by contrast, seems to confuse loud with funny. So there you go. You just saw Kinda Pregnant through my eyes. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. While you are there, press that like and subscribe button, and until next time, keep on watching movies, guys.